Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's project, we're working on my 2012 Audi R8. This has the 4.2 liter V8. The other day, I got some codes showing the camshaft and crankshaft position sensors, something with them going out. This is a 2012, and I believe those are all original. So this is something that I really didn't even cross my mind, something that had to be replaced. But I had to do quite a lot of research to figure out how to do this project in the garage. I looked at as many forums as I could. This 4.2 V8 is also found in the Audi RS4, which we don't have in the USA anymore, but I was able to kind of piece together some information from those forums as well as some of the R8 forums. Now, there are 4 camshaft position sensors and 1 crankshaft position sensor. This box right here cost me just over 50 bucks. Audi quoted roughly $140 a piece for all of these sensors, and then I didn't get a labor quote, but I would assume $500 to $800, maybe more. So you're looking at bare minimum $1,000 to do this project if you had Audi do it and you had them do all the labor. So I am going to tackle this in my garage here. We'll see how long this takes, and we'll start up top here on the engine. So of the 4 camshaft position sensors, there's one right here, and then one directly on the opposite side. Those are the 2 easiest to get. So to remove these pieces, you'll notice that there's quite a lot of these screws here that have a flat section to them. You can just take a flathead and twist them about 90 degrees or so to pop all of those out. From there, you do have to release the lower section of this strut assembly. So if you can just get that clip off enough, give it a good push, make sure that you are ready for it to drop. And I do have to remove this cap up top in order to get a little bit of better wiggle room. That is for the reservoir for the coolant there. And then there's also the interior dome light. So just reach your hand behind here, you can unclip that piece. And then from there, I'm just gonna use my head as a second hand, and you'll be able to pull this right out. Now what I've also been able to find is that you can actually rest this strut on the back of this frame here, and that way you can keep that up without having to hold it in place. And with that piece removed, that is going to allow us better access to this section right here. So you'll notice this heat shield here does have to be removed, and if you can see where my fingertip is, that heat shield right there is actually surrounding the cable for this portion of the camshaft sensor. So it goes right around the entire section there, and it tucks up underneath. So using a T30 socket, this is one of the 2 bolts holding this heat shield in place. There's one located right where my fingertip is, and then there's one located right here. And so it is a little bit hard to get in there, especially since you're doing this blind with your tool. But if you can angle them up, that is how you can get onto the end of these screws here. So I am still loosening this one by hand. I've already loosened them with the socket. Just take some time, but with that trim piece out of the way, you have a little bit or better access. You may be able to remove this tank if you would like to. I tried to, I couldn't get it out, so I just left it as is. And so with that second bolt out, I'm taking a T50 now, and there's actually a bolt way at the end here, and it was just a trial and error to see what fit, and I actually started loosening it just with that socket itself. So either that bolt was really loose, or it's just not that tight of a fitment. And so I can remove the 3rd bolt that I think is holding this in place. And that should be the whole heat shield. So I should be able to remove it and slide it out just like that. And then real quick, now that I can see that far bolt, it's actually an M10. A T50 seemed to work just to get it loose, but grab an M10. That is going to fit much more secure for that bolt. And so back to the T30, removing the screw that's holding this position sensor in place. This is a little bit time consuming just because you're going in blind. So I'm doing this all without actually seeing the end of the bolt there. And so I was able to use my left hand and pop it right out. Now, if you do the upper 2, it'll give you a little bit more experience on how to get those out. I've already adjusted the top ones, but I'll show that again. So I just had a little bit of experience with how to do it. They're in there a little bit tight, but you can just kind of twist it a little bit left or right and then to pull it right out. So from here, you'll see this is the mini heat shield that it's holding onto. And then I can disconnect it. So just by going up to this top one here, you'll see you have this clamp system here that you'll just push and squeeze to pull them apart. And so with that one removed, let's see if we can zoom in on what this looks like. There's a whole bunch of grease and whatever this is surrounding the top of it versus the new one. I am not sure exactly what all that is. So out with the old, in with the new. We'll do the exact same process. So hook this back up, put it into place. So surprisingly, that took less than a half hour to do that. It's just a matter of wiggling both hands in here, leaning over the car. It's not the most comfortable, but I have that buttoned up with the new sensor down below. And now I can move on to this passenger sensor up top. Now you can get a visual as to what I was doing on the one down below. And I just need to loosen that slightly. They're not on there the tightest, which is nice. I can slowly start to wiggle this left and right and just try to pull it as straight out as possible. So you have a little bit of wiggle room, but not much. And then with this released, now I can pinch the end of it and separate that, put the new one in, and then put it back in place. This one doesn't look all that bad. It looks much better than the one down below. So onto the driver's side now. This is where it's going to start getting a little bit trickier. Now I went ahead and removed that trim piece just like on the passenger side. I had to remove this cap here in order to disconnect it. And then I just have the strut resting on this piece right here. So that's actually working to keep it up and it's still out of the way. So on the driver's side, let's start up top for here because this sensor is going to be located right there. So I have the top of the head of that bolt there, and I can start loosening it from there. And with that bolt out, there's a few cables on this side that we need to avoid. But once I have it released, then I can bring it up to here, pinch that bottom side of it, and that's how you can remove this one. So I wasn't kidding when I said that the driver's side is going to be much harder, especially this one in the lower section. So I have actually loosened the heat shield for this side, and this is my best leverage to get into here laying on the engine because I have a lot more space to get my hand on the back here, and we're going in blind just like the other side. So I've got these loose enough to use my hand now, and unfortunately this is going to be the hardest part, lining this back up. All right, and so with the two bolts out, there's only two holding this in place. We can remove that. And now I'm going in here pretty much blind, just like on the other side, but I can remove the heat shield. And then I did get the T30 in here just like this. Hopefully you can see some of this, but I got it in there, lined it up, and there's enough room to start loosening that bolt. Now, just like the other side, we can go ahead and slowly wiggle this out. And now once we bring this up just a little bit, we can pinch the end of it. All right, and there we go. Now we can replace it with the new one. Make sure it's attached in properly. And now everything is going to be blind again. We have to figure out where the holes are, where everything is to line up. That is really what's going to take the longest. So I found the hole, I've got it back in, and now I just have to go in the reverse process. So take all these bolts and button it back up. So that bolt probably took just as long as getting the rest of them put together. It was definitely very, very hard to do. Now, with the crankshaft position sensor, I have the skid plates removed underneath the car. This is going to be a little bit hard to show, but I am actually not replacing it today because this is just way too much work. So I'm on the driver's side here. There's this pump right here in the way. Now I can access two of the bolts to loosen it. There's one right here, and then there's also one way up there. You can just see it at the top of the screen, just above my finger. The other one is located behind here, and that's where the crankshaft position sensor is located. I've been under the car for quite some time trying to find it and trying to figure out how to do this. So the removal of this is just not going to happen with the top bolt. I don't have the proper extensions. I don't even know how you would do that at the dealership, to be honest. So it is very, very well hidden. And so with the 4 camshaft sensors, that I would say took me about 2 hours or so just figuring out that last bolt almost took as long as doing the other 3. So it's a little time consuming, especially for me since I'm filming, of course, and then I don't really have a blueprint to do this. So I hope if you have an R8 and you plan on doing this yourself, that this will help you more. Now, I just got back from doing a drive cycle with the car and my check engine light has gone away. When the light appeared, my brother and I were actually going for a mountain cruise with the vehicle, so I had to clear it 2 or 3 times, I believe. The light came back on while I was still out and I had to drive home with the light on, but the light is gone now with just replacing those 4 camshaft sensors. So if I do have an issue with the crankshaft sensor now, that might be something that I will pay to have done simply with how tucked away that is. So unfortunately, that might be a $400 or $500 fix if that is needed. For now, the check engine light has gone away. So I'm just going to roll with this for now. If it does appear again, at least I know how to do it, how to gain access to it, and then I will most likely pay or try to figure out some kind of elbow extension to get in there. I've done the AC compressor on my car and I needed a weird elbow extension to get to the drive shaft for that compressor. So I might try to tackle that at some point, but if you do have to tackle it, either just take some time looking how to get back there, or you might just have to take it in for that part there. But with the other 4, my car is now hopefully running good, and I will keep you posted. If I have to do the crankshaft, I'll make a video, of course, on how to do that. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.